Wow, that was a loud clap.
Well, it's Wednesday. We got to get through halfway through the week. We're pushing to Friday.
We are pushing to Friday. I'd say we're pushing the whole weekend. That'd be me.
It's the last day of Give Big, in case you're interested, in the greater Seattle area. It's an annual fundraising campaign that you can donate to your favorite charity.
Yes. We should introduce ourselves.
I'm Jen.
Mm-hmm.
He's Curt. Curt and Jen in the morning podcast.
Thank you for being here. What do we got to say? Like, follow, love.
Anything that you can do to interact with our podcast would be really, really, really fantastic. We would appreciate it so much.
On the show today, the FAFO parenting style. What does FAFO stand for?
You're going to find out.
All right.
Would you shave years off your life to extend your pet's life? Would you hitchhike?
Also coming up on the show today, things that are sexy now that were not sexy 20 years ago. That was our question from Monday, and you answered as always. Thank you very much. Do you have one of the toughest jobs?
In America.
We don't.
Well, we have the top 10 toughest jobs in America.
To share with you, we don't have those jobs.
Well, because we have no job.
And do you have a meal ritual for your pet? We're going to find out all those things and more coming up on the big program.
You know what I did last night? Well, what did you do last night? Manage your puppies?
Yeah, we've got the 2 puppies we're still fostering.
They are something.
Super cute. But a handful.
Cute.
What did you do last night?
Here's what I will say. I love when the universe just like all lines up perfectly for you. So I went to go see Six at the Paramount Theater. It runs through Sunday. A fantastic show. If you've not seen it,
it's called Six.
Six. It's about King Henry VIII's 6 wives.
Okay.
And it is full of energy. It's 6 women on stage, all backed up by an all-female band. It is 90 minutes long. There is no intermission, and it is energy all the way through. It is so fantastic. It's like you're at a concert. Like lights, all the things. It's so good. Anyway, I went with a few girlfriends, and we wanted to go to the Pink Door, but did not have reservations. Pink Door for dinner, in Post Alley at Pike Place Market. And we called them on our way, and they said, if you don't have reservations, we do take walk-ins, but as soon as we open, it's like an hour wait. And we're like, crap, we better have a backup plan. Well, we went there anyway to get our name on the list just to see. And guess what? There was room for us, and we got to sit at the princess table.
What's the princess table?
It's this table that's like on this little stage. It's only for 4 people, and it's on this little stage with these lights and curtains, and it's so awesome. And I felt perfectly at home at the princess table.
Somehow.
And the food there. Have you been to the Pink Door?
Yes.
It's delicious. And they had this was one of the nights where they had like the trapeze artist gal who's amazing. Her back muscles are
yes.
ridiculous.
You don't eat the trapeze lady.
No, you don't.
That's just for added
entertainment value. It's awesome. If you haven't been, you should go. The food is like
Stop giving away free plugs to people.
I'm sorry. Okay.
You need to pay us.
Here's next thing. Do you want to do music in between, or you just want me to do this?
Well, we're going to talk about Real ID, which we have been mentioning the last couple of shows. It turns out you've had since like 2005 to get this done.
Yeah, and you know what? I've had my license renewed since then, obviously.
So I guess you had to be specific at that time. Or maybe there was a period where it wasn't even available.
I don't even know, but Lori was like, let me see your license, Jen, last night. She was one of the people I went to the show with. And she listens to the show all the time, so she heard that I did not have this ID, this Real ID. And she said, let me see your license. Are you sure you don't have it? Like, it doesn't say enhanced driver's license, nothing. I said, nothing. She looks at it. She's like, sure enough, you got to go get it done, girl.
Yeah. This is the new way to, well, the required way actually now to travel anywhere, not just outside of the country, but in the country. You need to have the Real ID card. Now, if you do have your passport, you can take your passport with you, and there are a few other things that you could use for your ID, but it's not going to be easy, and it's going to take long.
If you don't have Real ID. So go get Real ID. It starts today, so just be prepared.
Real ID starts being taken today or whatever.
At the airport.
You have to make an appointment, unlike before.
You can't there are no appointments to be had, so you could go. I didn't know you could go and just go on the wait list, but it's like hours and hours of waiting.
I'm not going to do that yet. But I'm not traveling anytime soon.
Do you not have it either? I thought you said you did.
No, gosh, no.
Okay.
I did. You know me, I'm last minute. And this is last minute. Google has been keeping track of the top questions kids are Googling about adults. And some of these are fun. Well, they're all pretty fun, but some of these are like, yeah, that makes sense. So they shared a bunch of stats on top things Americans have been Googling about adults.
Why are adults so blank? Why are adults number one?
That was it. Why are adults so blank? If you had to fill in that question, why are adults so mean?
Is the number one Googled question.
To fill in that blank. Then.
Yeah.
All right. Also, why are adults so obsessed with Disney?
Because we wish we were kids still.
That's reasonable.
Why are adults so stupid?
That's a good question. I'm not going to answer that. Why are adults so tired?
Because of you, children.
There you go. Or when you have a couple of new puppies. Right. Why are adults so condescending to kids? I don't think adults are condescending to kids. They're 14 and they think they're being condescending.
They're condescended to.
Condescended to. How about why are adults always so happy? I don't know that we are. You are.
Why are adults always late to trends?
Because we don't care.
We don't find out about them as early as you do, and I don't know why that is.
You know what'll be interesting is if you can think about yourself now, 14, 15, 16-year-olds or whatever, and then think about this date 30 years from now and realize how unimportant
the trends are?
Who knows if social media is still going to be around then? Of course it will be.
It will be.
Why are adults always so tired? Why are we so busy? Why are adults so busy? It says because we're still paying off your PS5. That was one of the answers, the PlayStation 5.
Why are adults always so unreasonable?
Are we?
I mean, we're all unreasonable sometimes. I mean, why are kids always unreasonable?
You kids are always unreasonable. There you go.
Oh, I like that you put this story right next to that. That story. This is good, Curt.
This is
the new parenting trend that's real hot right now.
Well, I would say it's an old parenting trend.
Yes.
Anybody who's a parent that says, you know, when I was a kid, my parents would never let me get away with this, and my parents did this, and that, you know, and I do think that we're a little bit a victim of too much information. It's like, you know, you're like, okay, I need to do this for my kid, or how do I discipline my kid? And you go and you know, there's like 1,000 different things instead of, you know what I'm saying? It's like there's too much information.
Yeah. So
however,
it's this new, let me just say, it's the new trend called FAFO, which is
F around and find out.
Yep. That's exactly what it stands for. Some people would call it growing up in the 80s and 90s.
That's what I would say.
Or any decade before then.
Right.
Okay, so here's why it's making a resurgence. A TikTok mom got it started in 2022, but just recently, Jason Kelsey's the football player, his wife Kylie talked about it on her podcast. I didn't even know she had a podcast.
Right. They're saying that this is like the opposite of helicopter parenting, which is where you hover and you're always around.
And you're always around to protect them. This is like
let them learn on their own.
If it's a safe situation, right? Like you're not going to let them go into a bad situation. But if the example they used is her kid wanted to not wear a coat, or I forget what it was.
Not wear a coat in the rain.
And the mom said, fine. Natural consequences.
You're soaking wet and miserable later on. But of course they say things like you can't use FAFO to, hey, you know, I want to run out in a busy intersection. Okay, go ahead, kid.
No,
don't do that one.
That's life-threatening.
But isn't this how every other species on the planet, how their youngins learn by doing stuff and finding out, oh, that hurts.
Didn't work.
I'm not going to do that again.
Yeah. They're saying don't use it as a weapon, and make sure you're still there to support or help them when they really need you.
Right.
Okay. That's all. We just wanted you to know that was the new trend.
Do you feel like you're a helicopter mom? That means you are.
I don't feel like I'm a helicopter mom. I mean, I'm definitely there to support my daughter, but I don't think I'm helicopter. Some of the time I go with the let them theory that Mel Robbins has recently put out there. I'm like, let them.
But that's kind of difficult, I imagine.
It's kind of like this, really.
Right. All right. This is National Pet Week. Did you know that?
I did not.
Because we have it right here written down. Half of dog owners have a meal ritual for their pup. A meal ritual. And Jen said, do you? And I was like, I don't think that I do. But then after we look at some of these, maybe we do.
I do. Let me tell you mine before we go into this.
Okay.
When I feed Sailor, she definitely has her own, like she has her place where she eats food, a special mat with a bowl of water and a bowl of food. I fill up the bowl of food. I crumple a little yummy treat in it. I put some warm water in it, swish it around, put it down, make her sit. And then I'm like, bon appetit, have a good dinner or breakfast. Okay, you can eat. That's what I do every time.
I think that I have I think, and this might be one on here. I think that I have sung songs because, oh, it's dinner time for puppies or something like that, you know.
I love that.
And then they look at me with the head turned. Just feed us.
Give us our food.
Okay, so here we go. This is the rituals that people say that they have for their animals.
Almost half of people, dog owners, say they have a mealtime ritual.
Okay, so about half of people for sure say putting a specific spot or a specific dish. That doesn't seem like a ritual as much as, well, this is your dish.
And this is where, spot, right? It's like we eat at the dinner table, right?
Adding an extra ingredient like chicken broth or a meal topper.
That's what I do.
All right. Hand mixing food to make it more appetizing. Is it more appetizing if you hand mix it?
Are you mixing something in, or are you just mixing the dry food around with a spoon?
Or the dry, I imagine the dry and the wet food around. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Saying a special word or phrase before feeding them, like bon appetit.
Bon appetit, my sweet. I do say bon appetit, my sweet.
Giving them a treat as an appetizer sometimes, you know, because we do. This is just giving them more human traits like, oh, you got to have an appetizer before your meal.
Yeah.
How about letting them choose their food by offering options to see?
No way.
Letting them choose their food by offering options to see what they go for.
Do you ever do that? Do you want this one or do you want this one?
If we go to the pet store and they've got the bulk food items, we'll let them sniff around and they might say, pick this. Okay, I want that one. Okay. But that's a little different. Finally, singing a song and dancing for your pet and with your pet when you serve them dinner. About 20% of people said their dog does a little dance when it's time to eat. The happy dance.
Oh, my roommate's dog, Phoebe, did that all the time.
Right.
When it was time to eat, she would like do circles around herself. That she was so excited to eat.
Didn't Snoopy used to have a supper time dance?
Oh, I don't know that.
I thought that he did. I'm not sure.
You're right.
Continuing with our National Pet Week. Is it National Pet Week or Dog Week?
Pet.
Okay.
National Pet Week.
Over half of people said that they would shave years off of their own lives if they could add it to their pet's lifespan.
I would not do that.
I wouldn't do that.
I mean, I love my dog, but not that much.
Well,
sorry, Sailor.
Yeah, I wonder about that. Maybe if I knew I was going to live to be, 100
and 10.
Yeah, and I was like,
I'd give back 5 years.
Exactly. Your miserable last years of your life. Here, dog.
Are we bad people for this? A new study looked at the connection between pets and their humans' mental well-being, and 3 in 5 Americans claim their pets have literally saved their lives.
I would agree. That's just not they didn't rush in and save me from a fire, but day to day, the benefits, the mental health benefits, especially from having a pet, I think are awesome. No?
Okay.
That's because you've got snotty Sailor and you're mean to her.
I am not mean to Sailor. Sailor is mean to others.
Okay.
Well, okay, so what does this whole story say? Maybe it's not surprising that some of us would be willing to share our remaining years with our pets. More than half of pet owners say they would trade years off their own life to extend their pet's lifespan. A third of people say they intentionally got a pet to improve their mental health, and for nearly all of them, it's working. 95% of those people say they're better off with their pet.
Which is pretty cool.
Are you better off with your puppies?
Oh, yeah, well, in time. Yeah, they and here's something that they said as well, that the average pet makes its owner smile 11 times a day and laugh about 9 times a day. That's a good thing.
I think puppies do that more than regular dogs. Like, Sailor does not make me laugh.
Come on.
No, she doesn't.
Once they get how about smile?
Every once in a while, I'll smile because she'll be like sitting there like, hi, Mom.
Are those
That's
her ears?
It. These are her ears.
I love Sailor. I think she's awesome. That's because she hasn't tried to bite me.
Right.
Yet, right?
Yet. ... Yet.
Here's our question from Monday. Today's Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Monday.
Okay. What's something that's sexy now that wasn't 20 years ago, that's sexy now that was not 20 years ago? And we had some examples. People said, bald guys with beards. 20 years ago, that was a midlife crisis. But now they're saying, hey, that's pretty cool. Or sweatpants with elastic around the ankles and calf-length socks.
An 800 credit score is sexy now but wasn't 20 years ago?
It probably was sexy then, too. An 800 credit score. Anyway, we wanted you to chime in with your suggestions as to what was sexy 20 years ago. No, what is sexy now that was not 20 years ago?
Ken says me.
Of course, my eyesight is failing, so everything looks better to me now. Thanks for that,
geez.
Ken. Leslie says, I feel like Birkenstocks have gotten sexier. Is that true?
I feel like, yeah.
Okay.
Andrea said bald men. Flannery said me.
There's a few people that said me, including Flannery. Lisa said powerful women, and Miriam she's like, Lisa, I was thinking similarly, smart women.
I think that's true.
Which it's too bad that wasn't sexy or ever wasn't sexy, but it is now.
For sure. Yeah.
Marita had emotional awareness and intelligence, integrity, being humble, living a balanced life within your means.
Those are good ones.
Yeah.
I commented on that. I'm like, those are all great ones. Phil, I'm not so sure about this. Rouge, lots of rouge and bright red lipstick, so hot. So I think that was hot 20 years ago, but I don't think so hot right now.
I think it's funny that Phil's daughter called him out on that and said, Dad, nobody calls it rouge anymore. What would you call it then?
Blush.
Blush, okay. Kevin says naps. Okay. Naps are sexier as we get older, I suppose. And Anne said, definitely me. Getting older brings out a whole new sexy.
Oh,
good
Anne,
answer,
you
Anne.
go, girl. Mm-hmm. Jenny said, owning a home, didn't give it any thought 20 years ago when I could have afforded it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Ina said, curvaceous women and sensitive men. Sexy now, maybe not so much 20 years ago.
Jeanette said 60. Is that, that's a good answer, actually.
The age, she's 60.
Yeah. 20 years ago, that didn't, all right.
Susie said big butts.
And I cannot lie. I had to.
Thanks, Susie. Corey, glasses are reading glasses. There's some really cute, sexy ones out there today. And that's kind of true. I think you go back far enough and you went to the store, the drugstore, reading glasses.
Are mine sexy?
Those are good looking glasses. They used to be just those Black Buddy Holly glasses, right? That's what you got. Flip phones. What? Oh, that's right, because it flips like this, right? Not the old type of flip phones, the ones that
open like a book?
I guess so. Who is that? Is that the new Google phones that do that?
I don't know.
All right.
Jeanette said vulnerability.
Eric says skinny jeans are sexy. Well, they didn't have skinny jeans back then. You just buy them a size too small, I guess.
I don't know. And Connie said fashions for pregnant women. Ooh, that's another good one.
All right. We like
good answers.
We'll have a new question for you at the end of the show. On to
Curt, have you ever hitchhiked?
No.
I haven't either. I would never.
Scary.
Too scary.
Especially these days, but even back then in the 70s.
I didn't even know it was still a thing, actually. I don't see hitchhikers hardly ever.
Yeah, I don't know if it is still a thing. Well, I think there's a lot of places where they put up signs like no hitchhiking.
It's illegal, yeah?
Could be. So. Well,
73% of Americans say hell to the no. I would never hitchhike.
Well, unless you want to be killed or maimed or worse.
I mean, that's how we grew up, right? I mean, there were movie after movie about hitchhikers or people that picked up hitchhikers and killed them.
Well, it seemed like it was
or tortured them, or both.
I mean, I'm going to use this word loosely, but wasn't that kind of a hippie thing to do, hitchhike across the country?
Yeah, don't die.
Right. Well, that's part of it. You don't want to die as well. However, when you said these movies, I'm like, well, these people are kind of free spirits to start with.
Well, in a recent poll, only 1 in 10 people said they have hitchhiked and would do it again.
Another 20% said they've hitchhiked in the past but would not do it again. Yeah, things have changed.
I'm surprised that many people have done it, but I guess if you're older and that was the time, right? Like you said, like what the hippie days.
I doubt very much that my parents ever hitchhiked. You?
No.
Still
Why are you yawning? Are you bored? Are we boring you?
No, I'm tired because,
you have 2 puppies.
I was up a couple times last night putting them out. Want to go potty? Let's do the potty
Potty
dance.
Potty outside.
Okay. Should we move on from hitchhiking?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, right. All right. Maybe that was not a great story.
That's fine.
It's fine.
Toughest jobs in America. And do you have one of the toughest jobs in America? It turns out that our former job is DJ. Not one of the toughest jobs in America.
Well, the whole reason this has got brought up is because yesterday was National Teacher Appreciation Day, and they're on the list, not in the top 10, in the top 20.
Right.
So we were just going to go through
a few of these.
The top 10 toughest jobs in America. They're physically demanding, have long hours, involve high stakes decisions, or there's an element of danger.
And this came about, there was a poll done. 2,000 people were asked, who do you think, what's the most dangerous job? Or, the toughest job.
It's literally opposite of what we do.
Well, should we start with, we'll go in this order, right?
Ooh, the number one?
People are saying, I bet it's firefighter.
Firefighter Pat.
It is firefighter they have as the number one toughest jobs, followed by construction worker, members of the military, doctor made number 4, and cop was number 5, which also tough
paramedic,
job.
Astronaut, farmer, air traffic controller, and oil worker.
Yeah.
That rounded out the top 10.
I'm glad they put farmer in there as well, because that is a tough job.
Yeah, it is. That's a really tough job.
Teacher didn't come into the play until 16th place.
And then the rest of the top 20 toughest jobs are nurse, roofer, electrician, home builder, engineer,
Yep.
teacher, pilot, lawyer, woodworker, and installing drywall.
Wouldn't that be drywaller?
A drywallers, that's a hard
I
job.
was going to say, is that what they call that job? Drywaller? It's probably just
Drywall
construction
installer.
worker. It
I
says
don't know.
installing drywall. That is a tough job.
Yeah.
My dad, it was as a young man, was my grandpa, my dad's dad, did a roofing, and they would be out in summers in Cincinnati, Ohio. It's 95 degrees out on a roof.
Roofing is
That's a tough job.
also hard.
That is a tough. I don't know if it's become any easier over the years, but it was tough back then for sure.
My ex-husband, before he became a cop, was in the military, then did roofing, then was a cop.
So he's a bad.
All of the toughest jobs.
Now this fast food employee did not make it as the toughest job.
No, it should be up there, though. I would not want to work in the restaurant industry.
However-
whether it be fast food or
Well,
dining.
this is not about fast food employees. This is about AI, which may be replacing fast food employees.
I was just going to say it's kind of about employees.
Yeah. So far, the report on AI fast food drive-thrus is that AI-powered interactions, they're supposed to provide faster service, improve efficiency, and customer satisfaction. So they looked at cases involving three things: AI voice ordering, mobile ordering for pickup, and in-store kiosk ordering. The results were not perfect.
They were not perfect?
22% of the time, the AI voice ordering system glitched
Oh.
and needed an employee to come in and help anyway.
22% of the time?
So humans are
Dang.
still important, right?
Muy importante.
Yeah, there were also order inaccuracies with the AI, and about 65% of those involved in AI's inability to deal with what's that? Oh, 65 of those order inaccuracies involved AI's inability to deal with customization requests. Ooh, if you say, hey, can I get that with no
Forget
pickles?
it. They'd hate me.
AI is like,
I'm not getting my customization done
does
then.
not compute.
Mobile ordering time or cut time spent in the drive-thru by 1 minute and 54 seconds. That's significant. And mobile ordering reduced in-store wait times by 3 minutes and 31 seconds. Okay.
By the way, that was not how AI sounds. Does not compute. Wouldn't that suck? You go to welcome to McDonald's.
How
Man, take your
frustrating.
order.
What would that be? I watched the story on this, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's called a place called Burger Bots, and the bots. There's a whole display window like Shakey's Pizza. Remember Shakey's Pizza? You could watch them make pizzas.
Yes.
You can watch the Burger Bots make the burgers. So I mean, it's kind of fun, like right? It's entertainment. You watch them make your burger,
Yeah.
and then you get served your burger.
It seems like it would be consistent every single time.
The owner of the restaurant said what it allows me to do, first of all, it automates the job that people don't want to do and it has the biggest
Right.
turnover rate.
Right.
And number two, it allows her to interact more with the customers. So she's out on the eating floor, the dining floor.
And AI is taking care of everything else.
Yeah.
That brings us to, well, this is going to lead to our question of the day. Somebody asked, are there things that you say wrong or incorrectly intentionally? And yes, the answer is yes for me.
Espresso.
Well,
I'm going to have me some espresso. Or if I'm going in the express lanes, I'm going in the espresso lanes.
of course you are. Of course you are. One of the things, and Dana and I just think this is funny because we get frustrated when people would say, I seen. Yeah, I seen Bon Jovi in concert last week. And before that, I seen. So we say I seen on purpose. Ugh. We think it's hilarious.
I have seen.
Yeah. But now it's to the point where we got to be careful if we're out,
Right?
trying to look like intelligent people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we seen that. And we thought,
So those are a couple of examples. Do you have other examples?
some of them on here says, okay, I call it the Google, mostly to annoy my kids. That's hilarious. You should check the Google. That's actually pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Strategery.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
Okay. People say deers when they say more than one deer. Remember when I was saying mouses in my van?
Yep.
There were mouses.
Yep.
Here's a quote. It's not rocket surgery. I love that.
I feel like that's something that Dana would say. 'Cause
I've never
doesn't
heard
she
it.
Get those messed up, like get sayings messed up a little bit.
Which is hilarious. We'll share some of those another time. Someone said my mom would say urethra instead of eureka.
What?
Huh?
I might say that too because it sounds better.
Urethra.
Urethra. What does eureka mean?
Like,
Isn't it a vacuum cleaner?
Well, it is a brand of vacuum cleaners, but I think if you come upon the answer, aha, like eureka, I found it, or I've got the answer, or something like that.
I've never said that.
Or urethra, for that matter. Somebody says their grandpa used to say sandwich, sandwich. We all know it's sandwich, by the way.
Sandwich.
Sandwich.
I'm gonna have a sandwich for
And do you
lunch.
people say, let's go to McDonald's?
No.
That's just funny.
Mickey D's.
McDonald's. So that's what we're looking for. There are things that you say wrong on purpose, and we think that this is going to be a funny list.
Nordstrom's. It's Nordstrom.
What? I'm trying to think of this. I know this is I'll have a bunch for Friday.
I'm going to Fred Meyer's. It's actually just Fred Meyer.
But is that because you don't know, or you do it on purpose?
I guess that's the thing, right? Those are accidental. So we need on purpose things. That's what you're saying.
This person said, oh, here's one. I say self-defecating instead of self-deprecating. If you're self-defecating, we're all self-defecating. You don't like it?
I feel like it's funny.
Okay. All right. There's your deal.
So the question of the day is your best example of I say it wrong on purpose.
All right. Thank you for being here and joining us.
It's already over?
Well, you're the one who said
The
I had to get out
time
of
has
here.
come. Where did it go? It always goes fast when you want it slow. Do you know what that's from?
I do not.
A boomerang, bing bong bang is boomerang. It's a show.
Music's running out.
Okay. We'll see you on Friday with a new episode. Make good choices, find joy, spread kindness, and laugh because it's good for your soul. Have a good one.
Bye.